Hi, I'm going to share this story here. Sometimes we're led to do some things that seem beyond our capacity, and then when we do them, we find out that it was in our grasp. It was the inspiration that brought it forth, and whatever's created, we find out it is more than just what is on the surface. As such is this story. The race to the garden. It was mid-spring in the valley when Rabbit came hopping down the lane and met Turtle, who had just bitten into a red clover. "Hello, Turtle," Rabbit greeted. Turtle chewed his flower, swallowed it, and returned. "Hello, Rabbit. Where are you running to today?" Rabbit smiled and said, "To see you." Turtle chomped another clover flower and began to chew. "I challenge you to race me to the garden on the other side of the hill," Rabbit said excitedly as he stomped his strong foot on the ground. Turtle swallowed his fare and said, "I am slow, and you are fast. Why would you want me as an opponent? Do you wish to win so easily?" Rabbit returned quickly. "Fast? These big feet of mine cause me to trip. My long legs make me hop, and I can only see half of where I am going because of it. These large ears of mine catch the wind and slow me so very much. I think that it will be fair sport. Will you race me to the garden?" Turtle looked at Rabbit and saw his big feet, long legs, and large ears. He considered these facts, and he decided he may have a fair chance in the race. "I will," he said to Rabbit, and then bit off another clover flower. Rabbit smiled from large ear to large ear. "We will meet here tomorrow at dawn and see who makes it to the garden first." Turtle continued to chew his flower and only nodded. Rabbit jumped into the air and hopped back down the lane in which he came. Turtle watched how high Rabbit could jump. He noticed the rabbit's agility when turning using his big feet, and also how sleek he looked with his ears neatly tucked on his back. "How could I win? I am slow and carry my whole home on my back. Nevertheless, I will do my best tomorrow. Now for some rest." Turtle tucked his head, feet, and tail into his shell and drifted off to sleep. Turtle had a dream. In his dream, Owl came to him and told him not to worry about his slow pace, and that he should be steady and never waver in his effort to make it to the garden. He also told him not to compare his progress with Rabbit. Owl also warned Turtle not to race through the open meadow, but to remain on the narrow lane that for sure would take him to the garden. Owl said, "Endure till the end, my friend, and I will see you again." Then he raised up and flew away in Turtle's dream. The next morning, Turtle was awakened by Rabbit knocking on his shell. "Hello, hello! Is there anyone at home?" "Good morning, Rabbit. I am ready to race," Turtle said as he popped his head from the home on his back. Rabbit smirked and crouched next to Turtle, ready to run. When the sun comes over the hill and shines its ray on that white stone over there, the race begins, Rabbit stated as the two eagerly waited. The sun was taking its time this morning to shine upon the white stone as it warmed the night's chill from Turtle. The white stone shone very brightly as the sun's rays kissed the edge of the pebble. Rabbit bolted from his crouched position and disappeared into the thicket of thorns next to the lane. Turtle took a step, then another, and another. He walked at his pace. He passed Snail and waved. He came to a clover and ate it. He saw a robin and waved. He came to a puddle and drank. Then another step, and one more. Rabbit was moving so quickly that the lane looked a blur to him. He noticed no clover. He passed many robin and never waved. He even stepped on a few snails, which quickly hid inside their shells for protection against Rabbit's apathetic race. Soon Rabbit smelled something that he could not go without. Carrots! He stopped suddenly and sniffed the air. He went left. There were no carrots there. He went right, and none there either. He turned back and caught the smell again. Carrots! He shouted as his keen eyes only could focus on the tall stalks that had delicious orange carrots buried beneath the soil. Rabbit dug and dug until he found the sweetest carrot he had ever tasted. He sat and ate it at his leisure until it was gone. I must have another. He dug more carrots, as many as he wanted. In fact, he ate them all until the sun was high into the sky and its warmth made him sleepy. He rolled on his back and remembered the race. He studied his big feet and long legs for a moment and said to himself, Surely a rest is in order, and I am certainly capable of making up for the time I spent digging carrots. He closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep, dreaming of the beautiful garden finish line where there may be some more carrots. Turtle took another step, and again another. He talked with Toad as he hopped by on his way to the creek. On and on he went, step after step. He greeted everyone he met along his route. He realized that his slow pace gave him opportunity to see how his woodland friends are getting along. This gave him joy to keep going. The sun was getting low in the sky, and Rabbit woke from his slumber. He could hardly roll back to his feet as the lump of carrots in his belly gave him trouble. Oh my! It seems that I have slept too long, and the safety of daytime is turning into the dangers of night. I must head home and rest more. Tomorrow I will surely run past Turtle. That's if he has even left the starting line. Rabbit went to the safety of his den. Turtle kept his steady pace until the sun set, and he continued into the night. Turtle knew that he could because he was protected by his shell from any predators of the dark. The moon was high into the sky before Turtle tucked himself in and slept soundly, knowing that his efforts in this race were his best. The sun crested the hill and warmed Turtle in his shell as he started his steady walk towards the garden. It was late morning when Rabbit squeezed from the entrance of his home. He was sluggish this morning, for the carrots were many last evening, and he could not sleep well knowing that his first day of racing was not going as he wanted it to go. He hopped lazily along the lane until he reached the starting line once again. I ran half a day and I am here yet again at the starting line. He saw Turtle's footprints in the mud and giggled to himself. Too slow, ha ha! Then he jumped into the thicket to head to a shortcut that he knew well. Rabbit's big feet slowed his travel through the thicket. His long legs would tangle in briars, and he would spend much time getting himself free. Of course, his long ears caught every thorn, causing him pain. Finally, he reached the end of the thicket and sat on the soft, mossy area to rest and pull thorns from his feet and ears. He spent even more time cleaning the mud from his white fur, as he was always concerned with how he appeared to the rest of the forest. Turtle kept walking the lane. He ran into many of his friends. Some he shared a snack with or offered encouragement, and others would walk along with him on his trek and fellowship. This filled Turtle with joy, and after a while he didn't even realize that he was on a journey. It seemed just like any other ordinary day. The afternoon tired and became twilight, so Rabbit ran to his den once again for safety. Turtle plodded along into the evening. He saw the moon light up the orb weaver's web and wondered how a spider could know how to build such a wonderful creation without ever being taught to do so. Possum passed Turtle as he walked and offered his greetings and a small fish that he had just caught in the pond. Turtle thanked him and continued on. Rabbit lay awake in the confines of his den. He could not sleep from all the pain from the prickers and stickers that hindered his progress that afternoon. He also wondered why he had wasted so much time with those carrots on the first day, especially when the garden will have so many delicious delights that he couldn't even imagine. The night passed slowly, and so did Turtle. He made his steady route upwards to the top of the hill. Once there, he could see the whole valley below him. The sky was clear and filled with a blanket of stars whose ends touched the darkness of the valley's rim. Turtle stood there amazed. He had never seen the world this way. Without the challenge of this race, he would have been fast asleep in his shell at this hour. He stayed on that hilltop until dawn. Rabbit was up early because he never really slept this night. He jumped from his den and raced as fast as he could down the lane to the starting line once again. I'm still at the start, even on the third day of the race. Mouse sat nearby, watching Rabbit. He had never seen Rabbit in such a frantic state. Only that one time when he encountered Hawk. Rabbit crossed the starting line, back and forth in his pacing. He did not know what to do. Should I take the lane? Oh no, the carrots. Should I take the thicket shortcut? Then the prickers and stickers started to ache his ears and feet. His mind raced, yet he walked in circles looking for an answer. Then he remembered the meadow. He also remembered the hawk that chased him around the meadow trying to eat him. Oh, if I only had protection from my enemies, I could run the meadow and go directly to the garden. Oh, the look on Turtle's face when he sees that I am faster and smarter for taking the easiest way to the garden, Rabbit stated glibly. Mouse shouted out to Rabbit. What about Hawk? Rabbit said to Mouse. I am fast. Even though the sores on his feet ached in rebuttal. Eagle is more powerful than Hawk, and he will protect me. Rabbit shouted indignantly at Mouse. Mouse jumped from his perch on the mushroom and said quietly to himself, "But you have never become friends with Eagle." Rabbit could not hear Mouse for the meekness of his voice. Rabbit hopped and jumped. He flipped and rolled to ready himself for the sprint. He stretched, then sniffed the air. He did not smell Hawk. He also did not smell Eagle. Turtle woke and had breakfast with Snail before he started his walk. This time he was moving rather quickly as he was going downhill. He could see the garden in his mind's eye and imagined green lettuces and juicy strawberries. He wondered what the other splendors that the garden would have. He trekked onwards. Rabbit hid on the edge of the meadow and the tall grasses for safety. He crouched and sprang into a full run out into the wide, open, bright, sunlit green meadow. The sun reflected off of his white fur coat immediately, which caught Turtle's eye. Turtle thought that Rabbit had already won the race and was surprised to see him still struggling near the starting line. Hawk also saw the gleaming white fur of Rabbit. "It has been some time since I had Rabbit for dinner," Hawk thought as he jumped from a pine bough and started to spiral down into the meadow. Hawk's shadow traced the valley's floor until it overshadowed Rabbit. Rabbit saw Hawk's dark shadow under his quick running feet, and a chill filled him with fright. Rabbit ran, Hawk circled, and Turtle watched. Hawk dove, Rabbit ran, and Turtle walked. Rabbit zigged, Hawk zagged, and Turtle walked. Hawk swooped, Rabbit dodged, and Turtle walked. Rabbit ran, Hawk attacked, and Turtle slid. Turtle slid on his belly. He tucked in his legs. The slippery morning dew carried Turtle down the hillside. Faster and faster he slid towards the meadow. Rabbit was tiring. Hawk was closing in on Rabbit. Turtle was careening towards the chase of Rabbit and Hawk. Rabbit could not run any more. Hawk's shadow enlarged over Rabbit as his sharp talons reached for him. Turtle now tumbled and rolled quickly down the valley towards Rabbit. Rabbit lay in the grass looking to the sky, panting for air, exhausted, waiting for Hawk. Turtle still rolled and then bounced. He then flew into the air and landed on top of Rabbit. Hawk crashed into Turtle's shell with a hollow thud, then bounced off and flew away, for he saw Eagle circling them high above in the heavens. Rabbit was safe under Turtle's shell. "Thank you!" Rabbit exclaimed. "You saved me from Hawk!" Turtle popped out from his shell, his head still spinning from the rolling rescue of his friend. "It was on my walk, which turned out to be a slide, then a roll, then a tumble, which brought me to you. I am glad that my walk has helped you, Rabbit," Turtle said, relieved. Rabbit hugged Turtle and kissed his beautiful shell. Turtle looked at Rabbit and said, "Shall we walk together to the garden?" Rabbit smiled, and the two began to walk, slowly, side by side, in fellowship, towards the garden together. Amen. I hope you liked my story. One of allegory. Shalom.